All right, hey, we're back. We're in season. What season is this of our show?
We'll
2?
say 2.5 because
Two and a
that
half.
first season,
I kind of
we had
like that.
that weird thing where you
Yo,
were in
yeah.
like a different country
Yeah.
and whatnot. But
That's where we met our cousins, though.
right.
Nielsen and Howell.
Yep.
But anyways, we're back. We're here, episode 1. We're gonna get right into it. We're gonna do draft grades. We got all the teams picked all their players, and we got a lot to talk about, Mike.
Lots to talk about. So we'll get right into it. Draft was yesterday. Season starts in what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, and
something
then
like
we're
that.
gonna be doing scrimmages and stuff like that. So the season
Scrimmages.
starts now.
Yeah.
The
And I
season-
do want to do one disclaimer. I think last year we were a little bit. I've heard from multiple people we were a little bit kind with the grades.
Well, too nice.
You guys know us by now, so you guys are going to have your opinion regardless. I'm not holding back at all on these grades.
Okay.
So take it how you want it. Love it or hate it. I'm going all in on the grades. So let's start off.
Okay.
We have the Hustlers. Number 1, they're officially the Hustlers, right? They confirmed yesterday.
Yeah, they confirmed in the live that they're going to be the Hustlers because they said that they hustled all of us for the first pick.
Okay. I respect that.
Makes sense.
What do you think about this team?
I mean, anytime you get a guy like Jordan, number 1, you can see what he can do with the team, especially they were down DJ last year and they were able to win the championship. So, they got a top tier talent like that, and then, dude, I think that they drafted pretty well. I love what they did with their first half of their picks. No disrespect, but I'm still learning some of the names. We have a lot of new rookies in here, so if we don't mention you, no disrespect by any means. Still trying to get to know the names.
Okay.
But look at one sleeper pick that I really like on this team. I think there's a couple sleepers on this team, and that's why I think they could be very solid. I think Joe Mahoney's going to be one of them. He's a guy that we played against in leagues before. He's a rookie coming into this season, but he's a guy that he can do it all, really. I mean, he's won championships for YG and stuff like that. And then I think Phoenix is a young up-and-coming player in here as well. And then they got veterans like Lionel, Scott Bedard, and I think this team's going to be really solid. I got them down for a B+.
Okay. I'm right on cue with you in the regards that there's a few sleepers on this team. What's crazy is the fact that if you look at both Clock brothers, they're probably going second, third round.
They're both very solid.
So, and then you match that with the defending Super Bowl quarterback, MVP of that game, you know what I mean? Or pretty much, I would say. It's going to be a really hard team to beat. He has chemistry. He's played with Scott. Lionel is a sleeper in this league. Not really a sleeper anymore. I mean, third round, he went second round, but he's a high motor player.
Yeah.
2 players I want to watch out for this year are Phoenix, like you mentioned, young and up and coming player. I play with him in Florida. He's a high energy guy, and we haven't really seen a ton of him on offense, but I have, and he's got hands. He can move around, and he doesn't miss flags. The next guy is Jonathan Sheridan. This kid has talent. He's kind of been slept on in these leagues a little bit, but I've been watching him play Bedford. He's gotten really, really good. He's, he's taken every step that he needs to kind of make his way up the ranks. You said B+. I'm going to go right there with you. B+ as well. I think they had a great draft.
Nice. All right.
And that is the Hustlers.
Whew, next one up. I got a lot to say about this one here. We got the Greek gods. You want to lead this one off, or should I go? Go ahead.
I'll start off. Arguably the one, he was either going 1 or 2. Andrew Duvall. I mean, you have that guy on your team. It's automatically he's gonna win you games just by one player. And it's football. There's 6 guys on the field. You won't see that often where one guy, especially not a quarterback, is just gonna completely dominate a game. He might be that one guy in this league. He's gonna win them a lot of games. Plus, the big thing that they have with this team is chemistry. I know Lazu's played with Mo, Duvall. They kind of know how they like to play together.
And then to piggyback on that real quick, Tyler Amigo played with Mo and Duvall and I on Blue Storm last year, so that adds more to that chemistry.
Yeah, and bouncing off that Tyler Amigo, he is the player. I want to name at least 1 or 2 sleepers on each team. He is my player to watch on this team. I know he's played quarterback. We don't know exactly what Jake's doing. I'm guessing Jake's going to play quarterback, but that kid Tyler Amigo, can kind of do it all. We seen him play quarterback. I know he can play receiver. I think he's the player to watch on that team where he can do a little bit of everything. That's my sleeper to watch on that team.
I like that. I had the pleasure of playing with him, and I'll give you another one of my sleepers here. Actually, real quick, not a sleeper, but obviously what you said about Duval is I got the pleasure to play with him last session. He's going to add so much value to this team right here. He is one of those superstars in the league that is very humble. He's not going to get on his teammates. He's a good leader. He communicates in the chat. And as you mentioned, I mean, I saw it firsthand. This guy can literally win you games by himself on both sides of the football. So,
agree.
Another great pick, Mo. I got to play with him last year as well. And Mo he's a leader. He takes complete control. He brings teammates up. If you're having a bad game, Mo's in the huddle and calming everybody down. And he's really going to give people that confidence they need to get back on track, right? Yep. And then, not a sleeper, but Jose Lazu Jr. is a great pick. He's younger too, but I feel like every time I play against him, he just gets better every game I play against him. So I think he's going to be solid. I think they drafted a solid squad around the co-captain as well. Jake and what's the co-captain's name again? Is it Alex?
Opinier?
Yeah, Alex, right? Yeah, him and Jake make it work. They've won a championship together on a team before in season 1. So you got to add some respect to this team. I think they got a lot of players that they were looking for. So that makes me. I'm gonna actually go with a B+ for them.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a. Just because I don't know some of the names lower down the list. I know Kelvin, Jaden. All right, what? There's probably 4 or 5 guys I don't know. So for that being said, I'm gonna go with a B.
Okay.
But I did like their draft.
Next up, we got the Punishers, which
a lot of talk on this team so far.
A lot of people like this team.
I agree. I'll let you start off.
So, I mean, same thing with Greg is one of those guys where he's just absolutely dominant on both sides of the ball, and I think he deserves more credit on the defensive side. Greg is a strong kid. He's got wheels, but he's strong too. Like he plays physical, and I think that's a phenomenal first round pick. And then they got Jerry as well, which is a guy that I've always wanted to play with. He's a great dude. He's gonna add that chemistry to this team where it's like he don't get mad or whatever. You know what I mean? He's always just very, very humble
cool,
kid.
Collective.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then they got Connor McLaughlin. That's a great pick. That's going to add to the chemistry of their squad. Sean McGrath. They scooped him too. That's great value right there. You got anybody else on here?
Yeah. So picking up off what you said, kind of going based off the chemistry aspect, there's actually 3 or 4 of these guys who have played before throughout, and this is back in my early years of flag. There's guys like Brad McCormick, Sammy Indeglia, Chris Gagnon, and obviously their captain Steven Indeglia. They have played together. Gagnon's brothers with Sammy and Steve are brothers, and so is Chris Gagnon. Plus, they played with Brad McCormick back in the day, so they already have chemistry, which is huge. And then you got guys, like you said, you got a Greg Balamotis, you got a Jerry, you got guys that are two-way players, humble guys. They're just going to play the game, and they're going to be bruisers. Same with Connor McLaughlin. I really like this team. The only thing that concerns me on this team is who is going to be their downfield target. Now, you got a guy like Jerry. I don't know who's playing quarterback, though. Is it going to be a Greg Balamotis? Is he throwing? I'm guessing so.
It's Danny.
Is it Danny? So that's just, there's a couple questions with this team. But other than that, I think that I think I'm going to give it, I'm going to say a B+. And like I said, I mean, they have the chemistry, and so we'll see where it goes. And I finished with a B+.
B+, and I had them down. I had them down at a B. That's what I got in my notes here. Next up, we got the Nor'easters. No longer Blue Storm. They got a name change.
Yep. Okay.
Same unis though. Same unis. It's got the snowman there, or that abominable monster, whatever that thing is.
I'm not sure what that thing is. To be honest.
Yeah.
I'll lead us off. It's just this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the picks, and the reason is I'm not. It's not that I'm not a fan of the players on the team. It's just I don't think he really found an identity in this draft. I think he kind of bounced around where I know you always want to go best available, but there seems like some guys he's picking that plays positions. Like I could see at least 3 or 4 quarterbacks on this list, but I'm seeing a couple other guys that might only want to play one side of the ball versus the other side of the ball. There's a couple guys that haven't played together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is some chemistry. I know Elijah's been on that team a couple times. Devin played with him, I think, season 2. Lamar Jacobs played last session.
Oh, okay. They had Devin before. That's right.
Yeah, but outside of that, I'm struggling to see when the going gets tough. Nuji's going to play quarterback. Who is going to be a guy that is your consistent guy that they could throw the ball to? I don't know. I don't know where everyone's going to play for positions. My sleeper on this team, I know we missed it picking sleepers on the last couple teams, but going back to that, my sleeper on this team is going to be Gil Ortiz.
Yeah.
Gil Ortiz, he's a big body, big target. He plays aggressive. He's hungry, and I think he's going to have an opportunity to eat. Going back to what I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this team. I'm going to give them, honestly, a C-.
Okay. C-, huh?
C-.
All right, so they got Anthony Nugent. That's how you say it? I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's a tier 1 player. He's a rookie coming into this league. I haven't watched him play much. I don't really know too much about him, but I've heard that this guy's an absolute superstar. So to piggyback off what Howe was saying, Derek, I love you, buddy, but I just feel like this team might find some trouble scoring the ball. That's my concern for them, is I think that points are going to be tough for this team. And that's my concern for them. But they need playmakers. In this league, you need guys where you can turn that, you can turn a little, a 10-yard hook or whatever into a touchdown by having people miss your flags and stuff. And if they have Anthony playing quarterback on this team, that would be my concern there. But he also, as you mentioned, he's got multiple quarterbacks on here. So I personally don't think that Derek's going to have Anthony play quarterback. I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not, but which leads me to my sleeper. My sleeper is Lamar. I played with Lamar last session, and he is one of the best teammates you could absolutely ask for. He does literally anything the team asks out of you, he will do that. And I have a lot of respect for Lamar. I think
Perry,
he's hungry.
Too, another great teammate.
Oh yeah. I had the pleasure of playing with him back on Vengeance as well, and that's a great point there. But I think they'll have some chemistry. I mean, Lamar, Chris Bassner was on that team last year. Elijah's been on that team, I think, his entire NFL career. And then Devin Collier's back there too. So I think that they are going to have the chemistry, but my concern, with no disrespect, I just feel like they might have some trouble scoring.
Okay.
Which
the final grade?
I'm giving them a C+.
Okay. Can I make one last final statement on that?
Oh, yeah.
I think I've doubted Blue Storm every year.
Yeah.
And Blue Storm has never missed the playoffs. Do you know that? Blue Storm has never missed the playoffs.
That doesn't surprise me. Derek does a good job gathering the troops together.
Yeah, I got to give him his credit. So.
Yeah.
All right, so next one we have is the Bad Boys.
I like this team a lot.
I do too.
I think this team, I think Yogi and, sorry, what's his name? Because it's not on here. Yeba, they drafted very well. I think Vance and Yogi are going to complement each other so well. That like, those two on the same defense right there is scary. And then with their next pick, they went with Saroon, who's a burner. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, he put on all season last year for Dream Killers, and I think that he's going to fit in well with them. They got I like all their picks. And my sleeper, sorry to ramble a bit, but my sleeper for this team is Eric Belrose. I think that he's proven himself in leagues around here at this point where he absolutely can play quarterback in this league. And that's going to be my sleeper. I think that this team is going to complement Eric a lot, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and I respect that. So I expect good things out of big things out of this team right here. And I think that I have them at an A. I think they drafted excellent. I love their team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you have two of the best, arguably the two. You can make a bid for a couple other people too, but probably the two best defensive players in the league, in Jason Vance and Yogi, which is scary.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going against that defense, it's scary. It kind of reminds me, honestly, of Dirty Squad last year. The way that the team's set up, it's heavy defense, but now you got playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Not to say Dirty Squad didn't, But now you have guys like a Sarin, who also has that playoff. I got Saroon.
Right?
Excuse me.
We made that mistake too many times.
I apologize.
Time to put some respect on his name.
I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, but he has playoff experience. He's played in the championship. Then you have a guy. This is my kind of. I have probably honestly like 3 sleepers on
this team's so deep.
Yeah,
they can put 6 really good players.
I agree with you that I think Eric should be throwing the ball just because I think House brings so much value on offense, whether he's quarterback or not. You know what I mean? And I think Eric can get it done with this cast around him. Eric's a sleeper of mine. House, but 2 guys I really want to watch as well is Alavi, who's won a championship with me. He can do it all, and he kind of slept in this draft, 5th round. You know what I mean? I've seen him go 2nd, 3rd round before. He kind of slipped in my eyes. And then the other guy is Scott Sock.
Yep.
The guy is just knows how to pull flags. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. He just has it down to a pat. You can't run by him. You can't run away from him. He takes great angles to flags. So those are some guys I watch for. I think they had a great draft. I think it ultimately comes down. I think I said this for Tiger Blood. If Eric's going to throw this season, whether they're a championship team, they have everything. They have all the pieces. It comes down to Eric Belrose. Is he going to take that step up and lead this team to a championship if he's quarterback? I don't know if that's confirmed, but if he is, it comes down to Eric Belrose. They have all the pieces around him. They have the defense. They have the weapons. I'm going to give them. I'll give them an A-.
Okay. Another player that we didn't mention, I want to give some credit to as well as Al. He plays with a motor. People that play.
Oh, I didn't even see that Al got drafted.
Dude, this team is deep, man. They can put out 6 players like on offense and defense that are like, wow, not many players on this team.
Revenge in the playoffs last year and overtime.
He's got a motor. He cares.
He does. So I apologize, Al. I didn't even see you on that list. So, that team's deep. All right, boom, boom.
Do you want me to start, or do you want to
lead us off? Because I got a lot to say.
You know, they're blaming the camera guy for the tension that Boom Boom has on this squad. So, I don't know. I think that obviously Ben always puts together a team that's ready to play. You know what I mean? And I think he did a good job with this roster here as far as picking the players that he wants. I've noticed Ben always wants to make sure he has a tier 1 quarterback, and he's absolutely got that in Dane. So that checks that off right there. And then, you know, he's drafting the guys he likes. He's got a lot of returning Boom Boom players coming back. He's got Kevin back, Michael Rodriguez. He's got Sam. He's got Timmons. He's got Jesse Diaz. He's got Mac, my boy Mac. That guy's in the gym, honestly, every single day at 5 a.m. And not that I see him in there, but I know he's in there. Because I don't go at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't got that in me. And then they also have DeLuca. He's got a motor on him as well. I played with him last year on Blue Storm, and I think that's a very solid pick. Great value for where they got him. And I think that's what's going to make Boom Boom well this year is they have a lot of great value picks. I think Ben got a lot of the players that he's looking for. So I got them at a B.
Okay. I think essentially that Boom Boom basically took part 1 and part 2 and just brought back a lot of guys, like kind of like the Patriots too, dude. Yeah. Like they just guys leave and then sign contracts somewhere else.
Jamie Collins,
but you always know where you're gonna where's home. You know what I mean? So I think that's big, but it's also it is a pro and there's a con to it. Okay, the pro is almost all of these guys have played together, and nobody puts a team together chemistry wise like Ben does. Mm-hmm. Ben preps the games. He has everybody on the same page. Everybody, that chat's always going. These guys have all played. Everybody's bought into that Boom Boom system, okay? And it's basically you just swap me out for Dane. To be honest, it kind of feels like it's just essentially it's all the same core Boom Boom guys minus a couple, and then they have Dane. Now, that is very good because these guys, like I said, they play together. They have the chemistry. They kind of know what they want to do. The only bad side of that is that now teams and players are figuring out, in my eyes, how Boom Boom plays, what they're you know, if you're playing these same guys in the same team, you know what I mean, 1, 2, 3 sessions in a row, it takes away that aspect of the draft league in the sense of like, you don't know what style, what system, what type of players these guys are. It's like, yo, you know how Boom Boom plays, you know who their core guys are, you know, they've all played. So I'll be interested to see how they move on. They've had nothing but success. Ben, their captain, has had nothing but success. And Kevin McDonald is a champion, great player. I'm going to give them a B plus. I think that the chemistry is huge. All these guys have played together. Great co-captain Kevin. He's going to be a leader for that team. And Dane, I'm a big Dane guy. I've always said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he fits right in with Boom Boom, dude.
Yeah.
That he's going to fit right into that type of group of guys, where it's just very quiet. Nobody really yells at each other on the field. And I think they're going to play great. I like I said, I'm gonna go with a B plus.
Yep. Solid. Next up, we got the Blue Lobsters, Boston Blue Lobsters, BBL on 3.
Right? 1, 2, 3.
BBL. That's what we're gonna do.
I'll let you lead us off.
So I don't want to be biased, but I fucking love our team. I really do like what we did in this draft here. We moved up, got an absolute superstar that I'm very excited to play with in Curtis. I've never played with Curtis before, and I've played against him plenty of times. I think he's going to fit our system very well, and I'm excited to play with him. And I think we stole Walkley with our second pick because we were considering taking him in the first pick when we did not make any trades. So to get him in the second round and then trade up for a guy like Curtis, I'm very excited about that.
That's all we're going to say today. Moving on.
Okay, you're not going to say anything?
We're not saying anything besides that.
Okay.
Moving on. Touchdown Mafia. Sorry, fellas, you are not seeing any more of our cards. Patty just gave you the 30-second trailer.
Too much.
You gave you the 30-second trailer. You got to buy the movie. All right. Next up is TD Mafia.
The defending champs.
Defending champs. Put some respect on their name.
And they got an absolute legend in Jamal Woods. This guy is a competitor. I've played against him in Blitz League a lot, and this is a guy, when he's playing out there, he's going to give it 110% every single play. He cares. And he's one of the best defensive players that I think I've ever had the pleasure of playing against. So to get guys like Yim, Bunny, Eli, a champion, Kevin Hayhurst, a champion in plenty of leagues. He's a veteran. I think this team did very well, and I think we're going to see another deep run by TD Mafia this year. So I got them here at, let's see, where's my draft grade? Yeah, I'm going to go with a B plus. B plus for me.
Okay. So I think that TD Mafia, you already have a couple guys who have played together on a championship team, which is massive, going back to the chemistry part of it. I think that they kind of filled in everywhere that they wanted to go. I think they really, the only thing that concerns me is when teams try to go, but when they have success, they try to do the same thing that they did last year and think that it can, not to say it's not going to work, but you got to kind of adjust with the league, new players. It looks like they took a lot of guys. So is that going to be a problem where, like going back to Boom Boom, I love what they did because they, but it can be a problem in the sense that teams are starting to figure you guys out, but I think they had a great draft. I mean, these guys all just, a lot of these guys won a championship together, and then you add a Chris Yim and a Jamal Woods. It's like, okay, I know you lose Jordan. The question I really have right now is DJ throwing for them? I think he probably will, but is he hurt? I don't know what when he's coming back from the injury. So I don't know if that's a concern, but the guy that I've always given flowers to, and he's my sleeper again this year, is Eliza. I mean, he balled out in the championship, leader, defensive specialist, and he went in the fifth round. We were considering taking him. We had a matchup with another guy. We weren't sure. That's my pick for the sleeper of this team. I'm going to give them, just because I don't know some of the guys, I'm going to give them a B minus.
Okay. Next up, we got our boys over in the Risley town over there, the Risley Bears.
The Risley Bears.
The Risley Bears.
I'll lead off with the Risley Bears. Okay. So we were actually considering taking Dave Baldwin with our pick once we traded up, but we felt like it might have been a little bit disrespectful. We had some chemistry with those guys. We didn't want to steal their pick, right?
Yep.
But I think it's really, this whole team comes down to one draft pick in my eyes.
Yeah.
And it's that third round, Danny. Danny, I don't know. I've been calling you Danny Meatballs just because that is the most Italian fucking last name I've ever seen, dude. But he looked good in the rookie showcase, but it's going to come down to that kid. He is their quarterback going into week 1, I'm guessing. And you spent a third round on a kid. A third round is a high pick. I haven't seen enough of him. He looked good in the rookie showcase, but he hasn't played this format. He hasn't, we haven't seen him in these regular games against non-rookies. So it's a big question mark to me. You know what you're getting with Coop, and you know what you're getting with Cheeks. That's maybe the best pairing of captains and co-captains you could ask for, plus a Dave Baldwin. I mean, that's three really good players. Charlie almost won MVP one year. So you have a good cast around them. Bana, fast as lightning. Walter Nash, you know his resume. Bo Lang is a good late pick. Same with Justin Parker. Saul Rodriguez, I've seen pull flags. Rogers, a great teammate guy. I'm gonna give them. This is tough, man, because it comes down to their quarterback, and I haven't seen enough of him playing. I'll go right in the middle. I'll go with a B.
Okay. I got them. So with their first pick in David Baldwin, he has potential to be MVP in this league, in my opinion. And I think Baldwin and Cheeks complement each other so well, the way that both of these guys play. And then I think that they got a top. I think from what I've seen from Danny Meatballs, and that's no disrespect, it's his Italian last name. From what I've seen from him in the rookie game, I think that's a great pick there. I think that they got some value. And then outside of that, I mean, they just drafted very well. We know Coop's resume. He drafts great in these leagues. He knows a lot of these. This is why they're so deep, because, Coop cares a lot. He's got a high motor, and he knows how to draft. He's already proven that in this league. They got size. They got some size as well. They got Walter on the team. They got big Walter. And then my sleeper is I'm gonna go with Brad Perry. I think he's set up on a good team where he can do well over there. And I got Bubba as my sleeper for the Grizzly Bears.
I love Bubba, but Bubba, you're going in the fucking dirt.
Oh wow.
And I love Bubba when I say that.
I'm going B+.
But his comments at the draft,
they irritated you?
Yeah, he got me angry.
Well, he helps me a lot in Harry Potter, so
okay.
Still gonna give him the edge.
Bubba, I love you. We'll see you soon, buddy.
Wow. Next up, you're going to have to kick this one off, but we got the only flags. Make sure you subscribe to this team. What do you think?
I'm canceling my subscription.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because I was playing Warzone with Jay. I said, hey, I'm taking Lazu 20th overall, and he legit looked at me, but he sounded like
you could hear him fixing the headset. He got up a little bit. He
made me feel stupid for thinking that if he was like, you're gonna take Lazu in the second round.
I call that a cheese trap.
But I knew we wanted, if we had 16, we were taking Lazu on the wraparound. But this is what it comes down to. Their first three guys, you know what I mean, that you could think of is Matt Shannon, Lazu, and Jay. They played together for a decade now. High chemistry. After that, this is where I'm very, very concerned about. And I know he played with I can't think of his co-captain.
Gagnon, right?
No. Trevor. I can't think of his name. Oh my god, man, I'm sorry. But he played the championship, my boy. I can't think of his name. But he's a great pick. He has chemistry with those guys. After that, this is where I'm concerned. A lot of these names are rookies. A lot of rookies. I don't know how many is he. What is he?
Full teams, rookies.
How are they going to adjust to the league? You see people in the rookie showcase. The problem with that is that they're playing rookies. They're playing other guys who haven't played yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How are they going to respond when they're playing kids who have been playing flag for a decade? I don't know. I'm not in love with the team, but I have to do a disclaimer. Jay literally led his team to, 13? I know they lost in the championship, but 13 straight wins with a team he didn't even pick. Mm-hmm. Who knows what he could do with the team that he picks?
Yeah.
The draft grade, I think, is he probably had the worst draft in my eyes, but it's like knowing what his ability is, where does that fit in? You know what I mean? So I'm going to give him a C-.
C-.
But that doesn't really mean anything, because I think Jay can play with whoever and make them great, and he elevates his team. I don't really know a ton of guys. I know EAD, you know his resume. He's got some vets, but then after that, it's all rookies I haven't seen, so I can't say it. So I'm gonna go C-. I'm not in love with the draft, but it's not gonna surprise me in the least bit if at the end of this season we're talking about how only flags is the champions.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback off what you were saying is obviously everybody knows how big of a competitor Jay is. And I guess I see what you mean. He drafted a little different, I guess. Maybe not so much best player available, but Jay is going to get the absolute best out of the guys on this team. And I mean, rookies to this league, sure, but you're talking about guys that have won championships in very, very, very competitive flag football leagues for a long time. He's got some, I'm going to push back against the rookie thing a little bit. I think he's got some veterans over there. Not so much to this league, and this league is a lot different, so they are going to have to adjust to it. But I think Jay's going to have them ready to play, and there's been a little bit of manipulation with this team. I think I wouldn't. I said it the whole time before the draft. I wouldn't say nothing to Jay, and he stole Lazoo. He stole Lazoo from us.
Grade?
I'm gonna go B minus.
Okay.
Next up, we got the Honey Badgers, who are boys. We got some boys on this team right here, but there are rivals as well.
They are rivals.
Yeah.
I think that they goes back to Boom Boom. It goes back to TD Mafia. I sound like a broken record, but it's how do you feel? It ultimately comes down to taking chemistry, prioritizing chemistry, guys you played with versus, how is our team's going to react when you played the same team a couple sessions in a row? You know what I mean? They added in a couple new guys, but their core is the same. I think that they made the semifinals with this team, and they were about one play away from making the championship, and anything could happen in the championship. So I like their draft. I think they said, hey, we know what it takes. We know what these guys can do, and we almost made the championship with this team. Let's run it back, and let's see, you know what I mean? We'll tweak a couple things, and let's see where it goes. I think that the sleeper on this team is going to be Garrett Barry, dude. And it's you get a guy like that, would they get him in the 7th round? He's a good player, man. We always talk about, his antics or whatever. I'm not even going to talk about that. It's a fresh start. How is he going to perform? He played great for Cowboy Killers. I know he's not going to throw this session unless something, you know what I mean, knock on what happened to Jimmy or anything like that. But he's a good player, man. He's my sleeper on this team. I'm going to give them a B plus. These guys have played together and they've won together.
Okay. See, I value the chemistry. I know it can go either way, but this team was honestly a couple plays away from winning the championship last year. I think this is a team that could have won it last year, and they're right there, and they're coming back hungry. They're bringing back a lot of their boys. This team has some of the most depth that I've seen in the draft so far. This team can put out 6 players on each side of the ball, where you're going to find matchup problems over there for some other teams. So I personally love what they did in the draft here. Their co-captain and captain, Chad and Vidge, proved that these guys can play well together. So I think that they're going to have great chemistry there as well. They got mismatches over there. I think Ivan is a great pickup to add to what they have over there. And I think this is a great opportunity for Ivan to show everybody like how good of a player he is. I can't call him a sleeper because of what he's done in this league, but I think Dennis Lean was an absolute fucking steal of potentially the draft where they got him in my
Defensive Player of the Year.
So I'm giving this team an A minus. I think that they're going to be very hungry, and they're going to be ready to go week 1. So.
Yeah. And side note, before we move on and before we get your, would you say
A minus?
How many championships do Billy Felt and Jimmy have combined together? Hundreds. So it's like that guy's nobody can bring a team together like Billy Felt can.
Well, I love that actually. Yeah.
Because he knows how to play with Jimmy, and him and Jimmy have won rings, dude.
He's a genius. Rings. He's a mastermind.
You know what I mean? So adding a guy like that to an already good team is very, very big.
Yeah, I love that. Cool. So next team we got the Dream Killers. What do you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not in love with this team. The reason for that is because, one, the commissioner is paired up with the guy he suspended 2 games. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, that realistically, that's... Well, I don't think that's going to be
a lot of rumors that he's not suspended anymore.
Yeah, so we're hearing that actually he's not suspended now that he's on that team. No, I'm just kidding. I think this team's okay. It's just I think they're going to struggle to find their identity just because I don't know. There's some a couple question marks, and what I mean by that is Bova, great quarterback. He's hurt right now. I don't know what his injury status is. Okay, Stretch, his resume, 2-time champion. Jeremy Vieira, arguably an MVP one year, but coming off a big knee injury. Noel, is he going to buy into the system? Great player. Is he going to buy into not playing with, some drip check guys? He's probably playing with a lot of guys he hasn't played with before. Is he going to buy into that? Kamsey, great player. Alex Hahn, I seen him in the rookie game, great player. Dylan McCarthy, sleeper. Nick Miano, he led Blue Storm to a great run. Season 2. Camilla, I'm not really sure. And Rafi Ray looks like he really wants to win. I've seen his comments on Facebook about being a rookie. He's willing to put the work in. So you got guys who I think are going to want to win, just like anybody else. But I'm not sold on the identity of this team yet, and I got to see a little bit more. I'm going to give them a C+.
Okay, I kind of agree with that. I think they're going to have. This is a team where they have good pieces on this team, but I think that it's going to be a work in progress for them. I think that they're going to have. They're going to learn a lot each game, and they're gonna build off of that every game. My concern with this team is, guys that can just, turn not much into huge plays.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You needed playmakers at the end of the day.
And it's no disrespect, but that's what
Who's
really
going to be their playmaker?
That's what really helps these teams is when you have those top tier guys that they turn nothing into something that and with all due respect, I feel like this team could potentially have some trouble scoring until they start heating up with each other and gaining that chemistry. What'd you grade them?
C+.
I got C+ as well. I'm going C+ as well. We got the Whiskey Boys here.
Lead us off with the Whiskey Boys.
The Whiskey Boys 13. So the Whiskey Boys, Tampo knows how to draft teams. This guy's won a national championship in Florida, so he knows what he's doing out there, and he knows what he wants when he's drafting teams. That being said, they're pretty young. They have some young picks, and I saw on the Facebook forum that Brandon Beelan might potentially be missing some games. Not sure how true that is. Not sure if there was some manipulation involved in that or not.
And we've seen some manipulation before.
Yeah. So I think that this team, they're gonna be there, right? But they're young. I think they might have a little bit of learning to do if guys like Brandon Beelan aren't there during certain weeks. I think that might be tough to win some games. You know what I mean? Especially depending on their matchup. But Tambo is just such a great leader, and I know how well he is at drafting teams and getting the best out of guys. He's a great leader. I think that this team is going to be an absolute sleeper in the playoffs to where I don't think you're going to want to see this team. I think that they're going to be set up to cause some damage. So I'm going to go B- for the Whiskey Boys.
Okay. Yeah, and I think going back to what you said last team, when the going gets tougher, who is going to be that guy that you give the ball to on a 7-yard hitch and you look down and he's scoring a touchdown on it? You know what I mean? He made a play out of nothing. That's where I'm worried. Just because you have players, Adam Tambo just won a national championship with his dad. There's no question that's a great connection, okay? But after that, and AK was on that team too. You know what I mean? So, but after that, you have some great players, but who's going to be that guy who steps up every week? It can't be a 1 week thing. You need a guy who's going to take that spot. It could be Brandon Beelan, but we don't know when he's showing up. He's younger. He's got other commitments, whatever it is. A guy that I want to watch sleeper for that team is Dylan Knowles. I know he's been in the gym. I know he's been going crazy. I've played with him before. I know his resume. He's a great player. Is it going to be that guy who steps up every week? There's just a lot of question marks on this team. I'm going to give them a C.
Okay. My sleeper, I didn't mention a sleeper, and I see a guy on here that I really want to mention. It's Nate Jones. That's another rookie in this league, right? But he's played in a lot of competitive flag football leagues for a long time, and I think that's a fucking excellent pick where they got him. That's a lot of value. So I did want to mention that before we get going.
Awesome.
Next team, we got Guardians, and I want to start by saying I like their uniforms a lot. I think these are pretty crispy. They're unique. I feel like we haven't seen anything like this jersey yet, and I like it. But they ripped it. They have a team of they have a good mesh of players, in my opinion. I really like what they did with their first 2 picks. These 2 guys, David Hamilton and Jeremy Beeland, as their first 2 picks, are dude, they're really gonna add a lot of value to this team right there. They are humble, they play well, they're good leaders, and they're great players as well. One of the steals that I see for this team is Kyle Gora. He's a young multi-sport athlete. This kid is I think Kyle Gore is ready to take a big step up this session, and I think that's a great value pick where they got him there. So Guardians, I'm gonna go ahead and give the Guardians a B plus.
Okay. I think me and you kind of agree on this team that it was just, dude, they had a really, really good draft. And I think Finn, we gave him shit for showing up late or whatever, but he responded by saying, "Hey, I'm going to turn up," and he did.
He's a fourth quarter guy, he says.
Yeah, he's a fourth quarter guy, and I think that he picked a team just full of like humble dogs, dude. Like Carter, humble dog. David Hamilton, humble dog. Jeremy Beelan, you know his resume. Same with Dre. I think
Kyle, they're all very humble.
Well, I'm going to get to the Kyle Gora thing in a second. Now, going through it, I'm going to skip over him because I have a piece on him at the end. But Brandon Gibby, I mean, fucking nobody wants to get in front of him when he got the ball. My sleeper on this team is Bob. He played his first session of flag with Ghost last session. He's a playmaker. He's going to make plays for them. And we wanted him. And to get him in what? 6th round. I love that pick. Same with Sock. I mean, he's a humble team guy. They have a lot of I think this team's gonna maybe have the best chemistry. That's my early pick. Is
good leaders,
really good chemistry. You know what I mean? They just guys that can gel and fit with any team they go on.
Yep.
Now going into Kyle Gora, this season ultimately comes down on him, in my opinion. He had a good session, brought his team to the playoffs, a couple plays away from moving on. And so he has a session of flag football under his belt. He's a great regular football quarterback. You could see, I think at times it's tough, especially in your first time playing flag, to switch over from regular football to flag. It's a completely different type of game.
Especially in a draft league.
Exactly. And you're playing with guys you never played with before, learning the rules. It's a lot of new stuff, and he led them to the playoffs. So I think that he takes a big step up this year. And I think ultimately this team, it really comes down to his play, Kyle Gora. Every quarterback, of course, but I think especially with this team, I'm going to go B+. I think they had a good draft.
Okay. Next up, we got
Who Dey.
Who Dey.
A lot of talk around.
And we know who they are.
Yep, we do.
So, Dome and Deuce. I don't know how I forgot his name. These guys are going to complement each other. You know, you got, in my opinion, the flag goat and Deuce, and then I think Dome does a good job. He's a good leader. He knows what he wants out of this team. I think that he drafted very well. He got some huge value picks where I don't think he thought these guys were going to be on the board when they were. So I know Dome is very excited about the team that he was able to put together. My sleeper for this team would be Alfredo Fred. I got the pleasure of playing with him in a 9-man league.
You know we wanted to draft him too.
Yeah, I wanted Fredo on my team, but that's behind me now. He looks like he's been hitting the gym. He's excited. He's a great teammate, and he's I'm going to go ahead and say that he's one of the best flag pullers in this league immediately coming in here. So I think that's
over 10 years experience.
Yeah, and he's been in a lot of championship teams as well. He's a warrior. This guy's found his way around in flag football leagues. You know what I mean? Like he gets recruited to top tier teams in 9-man because of what he brings to the table. So I think to get him at where they got him is a phenomenal pick.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and give Who Dey an A-. I think that they did a good job.
I agree. I think that Dome. You gotta admit when someone talks the talk and walks the walk, Dome was probably the loudest person in the captain chat in relevance to hey, you guys better not let me get these guys. And I'm turning up. We're like, all right, Dome, we'll see.
And it sounds like he got him.
And dude, there was talks of Hose B going first round as quarterback, and he's a veteran leader, quarterback, can win games. And I thought we might see him go first round, and Dome got him in the 3rd round. And he's playing with a Deuce. He's playing with a Ricky Tan, Thomas White. This team is stacked, man. This team is stacked. I hate to say it, but we've also said that about teams in the past. A preseason on paper, they look dominant, and then how are they going to gel together? You know what I mean? I think Dome and I think Deuce are good leaders where they can get anybody to buy in, which is massive. I do have a sleeper on this team, and it's actually going to be Danny Cruz. So Danny Cruz, I think could have actually gone earlier. I don't think people had seen enough out of Danny Cruz. The only thing I worried about is I seen him getting a couple arguments playing. I think it was in the rookie showcase. I don't know if that's gonna be a big deal or anything. He looked like he might have been arguing with a couple teammates or the other team, but nobody can bring a team better than Dome can. And I seen this too. And Deuce. And I've never seen somebody make so many plays so early like a Danny Cruz did. He was making a lot of plays. And then lastly, it's George Horn as well. Like, you got a guy who's won in flag leagues, veteran, has played with Dome before. I'm sure he's played with Deuce at some point. So that's another guy to watch.
Great minds to have on your team. Great football mind.
And Bo in the last round, this guy's his profile picture was him head topping some, I think, D1 corner.
It's got to be the best last pick in the league.
Yeah, and I agree. So I think this team top to bottom checks every box. I'm gonna go with it. You said an A-.
Yeah.
I'll give him an A. I'll give him an A.
Next up, we got our boys over there in prime time. I like what they did with this team.
This is a cool team. This is probably the coolest team.
I respect what Riley did. Is he had a plan. He knew the type of football that they want to play every Sunday, and he got the guys that he's looking for. This is going to be what I heard from the horse's mouth. He says, wrecking crew with a quarterback. Okay. And I like what they did over there. I think that he specifically said, Riley says he's going to shock the world. He's going to shock the world with his draft picks, and and that's what I mean by he took guys where he knew he had an idea of who he wanted to play with. He knew the identity of the team that they wanted to be. He knew what kind of team they wanted to be, and he hit on it. He's got a lot of the guys that he was looking for, and then he got guys that he's played with before in great value, such as like Kyle Sullivan. I think Dylan Elliott's a huge sleeper in this league. That's somebody that I really wanted to play with again. So I'm glad that Dylan is over there on a good spot. I think that he's going to do really well over there. I think that Shane's a great pick, good value. He has a motor. And then I think Riley's a good leader. I think that he's going to get the most out of these guys. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give Primetime a B+ for me.
I agree. So this is the only team. Well, I can't say only team, but this is one of the few teams that he actually had a plan from day one and executed it to exactly what he wanted. Riley knew what type of team he wanted. He set it up. He reached out to the guys he wanted. He told them, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, because we want to do this and that. That's why they're going to get my best draft grade. Not because I agree with all the guys they take or where they took them, just because the preparation, the game plan was all what he wanted.
Yeah, and him and his co-captain were very on the same page.
And they always were like, hey, we had the plan to take this guy here. We're taking him here. They didn't go off their plan. They stuck to the plan. They had a plan from the start. I'm going to give them an A+. And there's a couple guys that I want to watch out for on this team. So the biggest pick, I think that, well, there's two that I really want to watch out for. Let's say three even. Dylan Elliott, Elliott Island, most improved player, played great. Great teammate, great player. You can put him pretty much anywhere, and he finds a way to get open. And he doesn't drop the ball, and he'll match up on any best player playing corner. Kyle Sullivan was a first-round pick at one point, and he's still a great player. We haven't seen enough of Kyle Sullivan yet. You know what I mean? He's been. I think that Riley's going to figure out how to utilize him to his best potential. And then the last guy I want to watch out for is Shane Cruz. I think Shane Cruz is. I could say he's a top 5 round player. I know he's had some issues in this league, you know what I mean, with the fighting or whatever it was. I think that's the biggest question mark with him. But Shane Cruz is one of the nicest dudes you can ever meet. Honestly.
No, seriously.
You know what I mean? And he might get into some shit sometimes, and that might.
It's because he cares. He wants to win.
He's a competitor, and I think that might have hurt his draft stock. But nobody can, you know what I mean? There's a couple great leaders in this league. Riley's one of them.
Yeah.
And I like that dude, Jason.
Yep.
I think that everybody's gonna buy into what they did, and they have a game plan. Like I said, I'm gonna give them an A+.
They're gonna be a very physical football team.
I agree.
Moving on, we got Demon Time. Why don't you start this one off?
Demon Time. So I think there was a couple rumors about what they were gonna do pre-draft and you know what I mean, trading picks and this and that. But honestly, I think that I've heard multiple people at the draft were like, as soon as Habs took somebody, they're like, damn, I wanted that guy. Damn.
Yeah,
and that's always good.
Hear the reaction.
It's always good to have that reaction. They got burners. They got young talent. They got old talent. all the way through, I think this team is deep. I do think this team is deep. Brian Arlen Burner, Keo Burner, both play both sides of the ball. Lex Andrews, big downfield threat, can play defense, been playing flag for a long time. Same with Rocker. Luis, great player. Chris Burns, been a veteran in here. Cam, I've seen play a great player. I don't know the last couple of picks. I think that this team's going to be good, man.
They got speed. I see speed on this roster.
I just don't know. I think Habs is playing QB, but I'm not positive. That's the only question mark I have on this team is Habs playing quarterback. I've never seen Habs throw. So for that reason, I'll give them a B- just because there's some questions on that team. But I think Habs, dude, he's already in like 2 sessions established himself as one of the top players. Yeah. So I think
and he's a great kid too. Yeah. He's going to be a fun person to play with on that team.
Absolutely.
That being said, though, I have no idea what he can do at quarterback, so it's no disrespect, but Chris Burns, I think he gets slept on in here. You know what I mean? He's a good player. He's a great teammate, and guy's got a fucking cannon for an arm.
He can throw a ball. I heard
200 yards
over the mountains.
Yeah. He can throw a GST right over the fucking mountains, and that's where I like the speed of this team. I think that Arlen and Keo really are gonna complement each other well. And I think that Chris Burns has a fucking cannon for an arm. So I'm telling you, I could see this team, making some big plays down the field per se. I think Arlen's an up and coming player in here. To get him, in the second round that's a really strong pick. And then Keo as well. As I mentioned, I think these guys are really going to complement each other well. And then they have a veteran, Chris Rocker, who he's been in the flag world forever as well. He's a great two-way player, one of the best flag pullers in the league as well. So I like this team. I'm going to go ahead and give them a B.
B.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, last team.
We got Junior and the KND boys, which is Kids Next Door.
Change name from Blue Mountain State.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know. Lead us off. What do you got?
So I think that Junior always has a good idea of what he's looking for in flag football, and I think that he's really gonna benefit from drafting his own team this session. I think that he took some size, which I like. I think that he's going to be able to find, and I think Junior does a good job at quarterback. Like, I think he's going to find matchups with this team that he has right here. Shane Boss, we were able to capture a really cool play that he made during the rookie showcase, and he's a big body, man. He's going to be mismatched on pretty much. There's very few guys that I think will be able to cover him. You know what I mean, in this league. So I think that he's going to provide a lot of mismatches, and then they got Brian Michael, a lot more size. He's a big body as well. So to have 2 guys like that is going to be super valuable in a league like this. And then he's got Martell. That's one of his. He's got his brother. He's got Kevin. So this team has chemistry right off the rip as well. I'm going to go ahead and give them a B+.
B+. I agree. I think it's going to come down to you have Junior. I think it's going to take a huge step up this year. I do. I think he's had last session, having a kid, and it was just, we didn't really love that team from the start. I don't know if he was all the way in last session. I think he's definitely bought in this session. And he's got guys he's played with, Biggie, Martell. He has some of that chemistry. There's a couple guys that I really want to watch out for that I think one's a sleeper, and then a couple other guys I think can have the ability to take a step up, and we'll see if they do. Sleeper is Jason Gagne. This guy is really good. I know he's on Wrecking Crew. They had him playing quarterback, and then he was moving around. But this guy can play, man. Like, this dude is and I think he just started playing flag. He was playing semi-pro. Like, that's my sleeper. This guy's going to be good this year. You mark my word. This guy, Jason Gagne, is going to be really good. Now, the 2 guys I think that really need to step up is Brian Michael, big body. I know he likes the celebrations. I think that he's going to take a step up. He has to take a step up this year. You know what I mean? I think he's better than a 7th-round talent. He's a big body, he can catch. But is he going to lock in? Is he going to focus? Is he going to, take that next step forward? We'll see. Next guy is RT3. RT3 got picked in the last round. I don't think he's a last-round pick. I don't think he thinks he's a last-round pick. But you got to show people, like, I hate to say it, you got to sometimes have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder in this league. I know it's just flag football. I know it's for fun. but we're doing it every week. We spend a ton of hours prepping for this stuff. So whether it's a hobby or not, you gotta want it. I think RT3 wants it. I think he was insulted. I think he needs to now show it. Hey, when the opportunity is given, take that next step forward and ball out.
And RT3 is in a good spot too.
Yeah, I'll give them a B-, and then I think the last thing just about this team is I think the biggest dude who needs to really show up and show off. He's the first pick of the second round. Is Shane Boss. You're a rookie, big body. We know he can make plays. You know, we know he could be like a Devontae Adams. Seriously. Yeah. But he's got to now do it. He's got to do it in you know, I know that was a rookie showcase. He's got to step up. That's the spotlight player for that team, I think.
Okay. There you have it for the draft grades officially from Flag Football tonight. We got the grades there in the books, and I'm excited for this next session. I'm excited to get the show rolling again. We're going to make some improvements as always, try to continue. You know, we appreciate the support, and we definitely appreciate any, you know, help that you guys can give us. Let us know where we can improve. Thanks for watching this video as well. If you could do us the favor of hitting the thumbs up, share it out there. Let's get this league. Let's continue to grow this league and put it where it deserves to be.
And we have a special surprise for anybody who watched to the end of this video and is still here. We're going to officially break down the Boston Blue Lobsters. All right. So anybody who actually stayed and watched it, you get a little preview. We weren't gonna, but
now you want to.
Now we're going to go over the Boston.
All right. You heard what I had to say. You go ahead now.
So Boston Blue Lobsters, our biggest thing, you know, going into this league is just getting guys who want to buy into what the system is. It's just we like to have kind of like a no ego type football. Everybody's on the same page. I think I learned that from Ben. It's just the chemistry is very important. And the next thing is availability is the best ability. Guys that are going to show up, guys that want to win more than anything, and guys that are just going to buy in. The next thing I think is just we kind of wanted to just draft all the way through guys that you could plug them anywhere, and they could play anywhere. So that's where we went. I won't go much more into that. I think the only thing that we've heard is that we might lack a little bit of size, but we brought in a couple bruisers. We brought in a couple guys that when the going gets tough and somebody needs to make a block or make a play, we got that. But other than that, I love our team, and I'm looking forward to the session.
Yep. Hell yeah. Cheers, everybody. Should be a fun season.
Giving ourselves an A+.
Woo! I'm just gonna say B+ so that we don't have a target on our back.
No, we'll say we probably got a target on our back. Yeah, A+.
Yeah, A+. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
There you have it, everybody. We'll see you guys on episode 2.